Playhouse. We are in the home stretch here. Quick show of hands, how many of you guys went to previous days' Blockchain Week events? Online. We got a couple, online or here? Yeah, we got a couple. Fantastic. Because we are going to be spanning a couple of different themes that have definitely been brought up and expanded throughout this week. I'm really excited to be basically like group interviewing these two lovely humans. My background is in startup and innovation education. I've built and run a couple of programs. And so when I was given the opportunity to ask these two fantastic humans some questions, I jumped at the chance because it's great to get all excited about what's happening in the top end of town and even building new things. But we need talent. We need people that actually have skills, and they don't just materialize. They have to come from somewhere. So that's what we're going to be talking about real quickly today. So we have Nathan Burns here to my right. He's the founder of Australia's first accredited blockchain education course, and as well as an advanced diploma of applied blockchain. And he's got some interesting news that some people might be learning for the first time about the accredited blockchain training space today. As well as he's also the founder of Blockwish. So he comes from the business perspective of actually having to try to build and run a blockchain-based business. And then we also have Gordon Christensen, who is the founder of Digital Playhouse and School of Bitcoin, as well as many, many other ventures. I don't know how you do it and make time to be a father as well. So we will be asking a couple of meaty questions about training and education in the blockchain space. Real quick, do you guys each want to just spend 1 minute to expand on how you got into blockchain and why you love it?
I think when I got into blockchain, I actually watched a TED talk by Don Tapscott, and I went, "What? I don't know about this." And then, I think that was in like 2016, and so it sort of shocked me. So I just went, I got to learn a bit about this and dive down the rabbit hole.
Cool. So, yep. So for me, I got exposed through some trading initially. Saw someone online posting on Facebook about all these awesome gains in trading, and it piqued my interest. I've done some trading before, so I jumped in, started trading, and then I quickly realized this internet money thing actually. You couldn't use it online at the time, so we looked at how could we actually make crypto payments accessible online, and then quickly found out that there's a thing called blockchain that underpins all of this. And then we went, well, let's build a project that actually opens up for payment gateways and whatnot and allows for crypto payments. And through that project, we got lots of bad advice and got led down the garden path. We wasted a lot of money on consultants who were full of, you know what. And so that led us into the education side. We were scouring the earth for like, is there any education out there? Is there any courses? Is there any framework? Has anyone built something that's kind of a benchmark that you could depend upon? And at that stage, no one had. So we figured, well, we may as well be it. Let's get some really talented people together, build a team, and deliver a product that people could, like every other startup that's going on the same journey as we were with bad advice, like blind leading the blind type of thing. They were experiencing that, and if we can come up with a solution there, then we can solve not just our problems, but every other startup's problem about foundational core skills around blockchain, how to apply it to business, and how to have a solid framework. So that's how it all began.
Wow. So that's actually a really good transition to our first question. Sort of a primer for this question. Do you believe that the talent pool for blockchain-enabled skills in Australia is sufficient to actually build our next generation of Web3 businesses and services?
I'll say absolutely not at this stage. However, the good thing is there are opportunities to get people involved in it. It's more of an awareness problem more than anything else. We're now we've got 3 qualifications in applied blockchain, which is the business end of scoping out projects and managing projects from a blockchain perspective. We haven't gone the technical route, but there's a deficiency on both sides. There's a massive gap And we've heard this from the panels and the speakers before. Everybody's struggling with talent. The most important thing we can do is fill the pipeline of education, train people up, get people exposed to blockchain, get people in, because we're entering, as we heard just before, we're at about Web 2.5. We're nearly at Web 3. And in order to enable all these sorts of things, we need more people, we need more skills. And whether you're a coder or not a coder, it doesn't really matter. We've got this opportunity. Like, I've got no coding background. To be honest, I'm not interested in coding. I'm much more excited about seeing and designing architecture and infrastructure as opposed to coding it. But if you give too much rope to coders, your budgets blow out and all sorts of stuff happen. And we've got a few people in the crowd who have experienced this for sure. So we've got this opportunity right now to take advantage of filling the pipeline, the education pipeline. Like, we've got providers in the room here, a couple of the providers who are offering our course. Like some amazing things happening around that. It's a great entry. And then I'm sure Gordon's going to add on some huge value here where he's working on a bunch of education-based stuff as well to lead in and get people going.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. The blockchain industry is a very big space. So it's like touching so many things. And so if you're whatever business that you're in, I've heard so many things here on the different panels about, what I need. So I think there's one thing that the education system needs. First of all, they have STEM, so that's STEM. They need to add A and add A for arts. So that will solve some of the problems in the metaverse world, the NFT world. So more people will get that. I guess the kids will get exposure at a beginning level. I haven't quite worked out how to add in the B. So I think it's Bitcoin. So we add Bitcoin into everything, and that will solve the B part. So I don't know how that fits in with STEM B, but we can work that one out. So the other one is if you say, I'm seeing something at the moment, say particular industries, and alluvium's been talked about. There's a new project called Ocean Floor. Where are those projects going to get all their talent? So Ocean Floor have done a partnership with SAE. So that's the entertainment and arts education space. So natively, those students at those colleges now will get exposure to blockchain. So I think it's coming up with some innovative ways that you need to look at for your industry to be integrating what you need out of the existing industries.
Definitely. So to that end, and this can be just a nice, short, sharp one, if the Minister of Education in Canberra came to you and said, what year should we start baking blockchain education into the core curriculum in Australia, what would you say?
What year?
Yep.
What year should they start? Okay, so I think it's from kindergarten.
Yeah, as soon as possible, as soon as they're using a computer.
Yeah, there's I think one example for blockchain, introduction to blockchain. There was a school in Victoria, the Warana Park Primary School. Kieran Nolan's a well-known educator in this space, and so he found ways to integrate it into their school. And recently, we've started a project with Kieran and a bunch of other people, some educators. So it sort of all just fell into place with a few things. We were doing the digital Playhouse in Agnes Water. Kieran, I'd been to his school and learning about how to bring it into kids' education. Then we had some educators jump on board. So we've got quite a large number of educators not from the blockchain space. So we've got a little collective going now called the School of Bitcoin. And that's an education space, and that will go from K to 12.
That's fantastic. So we presently live in a kind of polarized society when it comes to the view of blockchain-enabled solutions. Like people seem to kind of love it or be really scared of it and kind of hate it, and generally that comes from fear and misunderstanding. because when you're talking about trying to put anything into a core curriculum or just even supplementary, people get worked up. How do you think Australia can progress past that point of thinking of it as this like fringe thing, and that only, certain people in, say, the financial sector should be dealing with it? How do we mainstream the use of blockchain technology in our broader landscape?
Yeah, I'll take this one first. So again, I would say it all starts around awareness and education. And by putting, I would actually say Australia is not doing too bad in some regards. An example of this is we've got, as I said, a number of the the RTOs, registered training organisations, who deliver our accredited curriculum. We've got a number of them in the room here, and we've got the likes of like TAFE Queensland, who came on board. We got VSL funding, that's student loan funding. That's government funded for people who want to study it. Then we also got and this is a bit of a news bomb, is we just got approved on unrestricted job trainer through TAFE Queensland for the diploma of applied blockchain, meaning anyone, employed, unemployed, doesn't matter what age, has access to study the diploma of applied blockchain for $145. Now that's pretty crazy. Now that's amazing as an entry pathway to get into it. And on the other side of it, all the private providers are out there, and they're really they've got access to VSL funding and whatnot, and they're doing different things, workshopping it, speeding up the timelines, doing things a bit different, and creating the access for people to get in there and do it without the barriers of entry. Because obviously with everything there's barriers of entry. There's prohibitive cost for some, there's time commitments for some, and everyone's got a different reason why not to get in. But I would say the governments, state and federal government, are getting behind it, and it's again about more people getting involved, because if we can create a groundswell of people taking up the education, we prove the case that more funding, more access, more opportunity becomes available for everybody. And just to add on that, the best thing about it is the lead out of it, because we get outcomes of people who have structure and frameworks to it, and we've got tons and tons of businesses going, hey, can we take graduates? Can we take students? So there's a pipeline to employment on the other side, which solves all the problems that everyone has been talking about before about skills shortage. It's already there. Like the pipeline is built. We just got to fill it. So help us get enrolled.
It's going to take a little time, though.
Yeah, it'll take ages, but it's a long game.
Gordon,
yeah, this is super exciting announcement. So even myself, I'm actually a student at the Blockchain Collective Advanced Diploma of Applied Blockchain this year. So I was doing something more to get upskilled myself, so I can skill
Awesome.
others around me. So I'm really enjoying that course. So we had as part of I'm from the Gladstone region. And as part of the Gladstone Region ICT network last year, we said, okay, we're going to aim to have 6 people to be upskilled into blockchain. So we got 3. This year, now that we've had this announcement, I've just said that we should just up that to 100. So we can then go to our TAFEs and to our school leavers, those who are are looking for work. They have an opportunity to come into one of the most exciting spaces on the planet right now, and look. So yeah, I think that's so exciting. What's happening?
That's a perfect lead-in for my last question, which is, it's great to talk about building the educational pipeline from the school age side of things, but how do we encourage and inspire more seasoned professionals, especially now when we see so many people wanting to transition careers and add tech to their CV in some way to give themselves more opportunities? How do we encourage more professionals to upskill in blockchain and do these kinds of programs?
Can I start on that one? So I think one would be, I asked my daughter, and I said, look, can I give you a mic and you can tell the crowd? My daughter's up here in the back row. She's been to many events down here. And so I asked her, what would we need to do? And she said, to like get the young people, for starters, to get into blockchain. And she said, make it fun. So on that note, Electra, my co-founder at Digital Playhouse, put up this new program that she's creating for accountants, and it was called the Experiential Tour for Accountants and Advisors. And it had this picture of a boat with everyone cruising through Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I thought, I was like a little scared to start with. I went, but then, you know, it was a little after that, I went, hey, this is fun. So she's made it fun. And so the accountants and advisors will jump on board. It's like turning that fear into excitement. It's like breaking, you were talking in the questions about how do we break down the barrier. Steve Vallis had said there, we shouldn't be having these conversations anymore about the how to get into crypto. You should already be there. You should already be a crypto native. So if we can make it fun for those that aren't here yet, then I think a lot more will join.
I'd add to your point about getting the kids involved and gamifying as much as possible. But let's face it, we're all kids at heart. We all love to play and have a good time. So fun is absolutely one thing. The second one is to take the fear element out. And I'd say the best way to remove fear is create some certainties around things. So for example, people are often, like one of the most common questions we get all the time is, well, what jobs are there in blockchain? And we almost need to say, look, you've got to take the leap of faith in this game at the moment, because some of the jobs in blockchain don't yet have a name. It's not like you go on Seek and there's 1,000 blockchain jobs. And the reason for that very clearly is the people who are building blockchain projects already know that if they put an ad on Seek, they're not going to get the blockchain people they're looking for because they don't exist in mass. So we need to create like that pathway for people to know that there's employment on the other side, there's opportunity on the other side, and that fear of, if I start this, will I get somewhere, is already answered before they start.
That's a really good point. Thank you so much, guys. That's all our time.
Awesome. Thanks.